This
Today is the first
conference
class.
will now be recorded.
So we would be like no first class. I'm going to cover like no in the demo class. I explained what are the things we are going to cover. As a first class, what I'll do here is we'll ensure that our dev environment is ready. Like no, the setup and everything is ready. The basic things which is required for us to get started with the core Java. One is we need to install the JDK. Another one is we need to install the one IDE. This is the IntelliJ idea we are going to install here. These are two things is important. We must have that IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse, whatever you are like. You know, if you are already familiar with the Eclipse, don't worry, you can continue to use the Eclipse. But I would recommend you people start using the IntelliJ IDE. So JDK, IntelliJ IDE. One more is a JIT, and then the third one is a Maven. Okay. The fourth one is a Maven. These are the things we need to install. These installations are simple and straightforward. There is no uh, nothing complex as such. Like it's a simple and straightforward. And JDK, when it comes to the JDK, you guys can confirm that whether it's a JDK is installed or not in your machine. If you are using the Windows, just you can go to the command prompt. Okay, you can go to the command prompt and the command prompt. You can go to the command prompt. Okay, in my case, I'm just using the uh, terminal. I'm going to use it here. Like just I'll be opening the terminal, and where you can type the Java hyphen version. If you type that here, you will get the Java version. What is the Java version you have installed? What is the Java version you have installed? You can see that here. Windows. Let me. Okay, settings. Let me increase the font size. Okay, text. I can change this to the size to the little bigger size. I'm going to make it here 14 or yeah, I'm making the little 18. I'm going to make it here. Then you close this here. Okay, the size is going to become the 18. We made the change. Okay, now here let me take it here Java iPhone version. I think it did not change. I don't know why. So where you would be finding the what is the JDK version, you are going to find it here. Like no, if then you can type the command called the Java C. That means your Java compiler is also installed. If you get these options, you will see that it will ensure that your Java compiler is also installed, and then we are going to use the Java command. Which if it is saying that without any error, if you give the options, that means JDK installation is successful. There is no issues at all. If you are not install that, it's a simple and straightforward. What you can do here is you can go to the JDK download. Just you browse for the JDK download. You are browsing for the JDK download. It will take you to the official site, and where the latest version is here in this case JDK 21. JDK 21 is the latest version. Depends on your operating system. If you're using the Windows, you download the Windows MSI or exe file. If you're using the Mac, you can download the depends on the your operating system. You can download the. So if you're using the M1 chips, like now you are going to download the DMG file. You are going to download here. So what operating system you are using, you can download from the this is a site we can download. Suppose if you are a Windows user, directly you can download the .exe file. There is you need not to like now here if I'm going here, let me put this link here. Okay, here I'm going to put the JDK link. I'm going to add it here. This is a place where you can download the JDK. You can download that here. Once you are done with the downloading of the this, you just to follow the installation wizard and you install that. Okay, and once installation is successful, to ensure that whether it's my installation is proper or not, you can use the Java hyphen version. Just say that Java hyphen version in your command prompt, and you execute the command called the Java C, and you execute the command called the Java, and everything should be uh, everything you should get the options. And after that, if you want to test whether my Java is executing or not, you can open the J shell. You open the J shell where you can type the 3 plus 4 plus 2 is how much you can type it here, which is going to give the result. This is like an interactive shell. This you will get only this option, you will get it only if you install the JDK 11 or above. Then we are going to say that is a quit. I think exit. I think exit patch. Right now, this is always I make a mistake. No slash exit. So this is what we are going to say that as a exit is a slash exit. Exit is going to say it as a goodbye. So in order to open that, uh, just you will be saying it as a J shell. You open the J shell where you can execute the some basic commands you can execute here. So suppose if you are writing the some output, you want to print that here. We are going to take it as a some expressions you want to evaluate here. 4 plus 3, how much? Just you are going to say that here. It's going to display it as a 7. If these things are executed as expected, that means your JDK setup is proper. If not, then your JDK is not installed properly and JDK is not available in a class path. That's a thing. We have to fix that things. You have to fix that things. Yeah. So once you are done with this, the JDK installation, and you try to install the JDK 21. You try to install the JDK 21. You install that here, and once you have done that here, and there is a next thing is we are going to install the IntelliJ IDE. Okay, this is the one IDE it's required here. Then we are going to type it as a IntelliJ IDEA. We are going to type it here, and where you are going to open the IntelliJ IDEA. And when you are downloading the IntelliJ IDEA, ensure that you are not downloading the unlimited. We are downloading the. If we click on this download, so here we have got the ultimate, and then there is something called the community edition. Please download the community edition. Please download the community edition. This is also simple installation. There is nothing big challenging here. Like now depends on the your operating system. If it is a Windows, you will get the .exe file. If it is a this is a Mac, we are getting the DMG file. You are going to get it here. Depends on the your operating system. You can choose and download that, and then finally you are going to install. Okay, finally you would be installing the installation also very simple, straightforward. Let me put it here. This is a IntelliJ IDEA. We are going to paste it here. IntelliJ IDEA. In order to download that here, just you can use it. This is the link. You can use it here. These two things are the basic things we require, and we need to install that here. Okay, if somebody is not installed on your mission Java, please ensure that you are installing the JDK, and at the same time you are installing uh, the IDE, IntelliJ IDEA, you are installing here. IntelliJ IDEA, we are going to install here. So these two things are good enough for us to start with the core Java sessions. Yeah. So any questions so far? Yes. Any questions? Okay. If somebody has a doubt, like no, hey, like if your mission is not installed with these things, if you are sharing the screen so that others also can see that, and like how the things will be installed, and if there is something goes wrong, I can explain that here how to fix that. If somebody is volunteers that, if you want to share your screen and install in the classroom itself, if your internet is speed is good, like we can do that as well, because already in my mission the setup is done. So that's the reason I'm asking. Yeah, it's just simple, like no, so if if it is not installed, you can give a try. And if you want to install now, if you ping me, or if you unmute and if you tell that you are ready to share the screen, I'll make you presenter. Okay, cool. Now here we have done the basic installation things. We will be doing that here. Now what we are going to do here is we are going to learn the when you are learning the Java, we know that Java is a programming language as well as it's a platform. Okay. So Java is a programming language and a platform. Whenever you are taking the any programming language, what is a programming language? The programming languages can do the computations, can do like no some mathematic operators, some computations it can perform on that. Like what are the programming language you have chosen? Either it's a Java or Python or PHP, whatever it's name, any programming languages. So like we want to do these some computations, you want to do that. Then we want to solve the particular problem, we are choosing the particular programming language, you are going to choose that here. What are the programs you are going to write it in Java? First you will write those programs. What are the programs you are going to write it in Java? We will be writing that programs. You will be writing in programs in a high level, we are going to write it here. We are going to write it here high level, we would be writing here. What does it mean? So when you're writing any program, Java programs you are writing here, you'll be writing like a high level, you are going to write it here. High level means which is a human readable language. Suppose if I'm taking here, if I'm writing my first hello world example in Java, you would be writing here public class hello world. This is my name of the class, this is the beginning of the class, this is the end of the class. And here we are going to write it inside the class. I'm going to write my main method. So this is a public static void main. This is a main method signature. Okay, string s capital, args we are going to take it here, and this is a place where we are going to write the where we are going to write it here. This is a method. Like if you look at here my class, this class has this is a class I created here. This is a class we created here, and this class has got the one method. That's a main method. And here we are going to print the what is the message you want to print it here. You would be printing inside this. We are going to print it here. System.out.println. Welcome to welcome to Java world. This is a message we want to print it here. An end statement. Now here this whatever you have written here, it's like English. Any person can read it. And what you are doing here, just you are written a public class hello world, you have written a one main method, and you have written the some message you are going to print it here. This high level language cannot be understood by your operating systems. Like my operating system needs to understand these high level languages. High level language it won't be understood by the your computers, your operating system. This needs to be converted into the what mission can understand. These high level languages we need to translate it into the mission understandable language. For that we need a compilers. Okay? The job of the compiler is it will translate high level language into the mission understandable language. In case of the Java, we use the Java compiler, the command called the Java C. Java C stands for the Java compiler. Java compiler we are going to take it here, and you will give the your program name. And whenever you take the programs, each programming languages has got its own extension. .c, .cpp, .sql, .doc, and you might have seen that these are the extensions. JPG, these are the extensions. In case of the Java, the file extension is .java. In case of the Java, the file extension is .java. And now here, when you're taking here your example, hello world is my class name, and your program should be saved with the hello world.java. What are the class name, public class name you have given? .java, we are going to use the extension. Once you once you have written a high level language, we want to translate into the what mission can understand, then we are going to use the compiler. We are asking the compiler, hey, you take my hello world class, you compile this program. The compiler is going to read entire this source code, and it will compile, and it will generate a intermediate file. It is going to generate that we call it as a hello world dot class file. It is going to generate. In other programming languages, if you take the C and C++, it will generate directly executables. But in case of the Java, when you compile your program, it will generate a intermediate file. It will generate one intermediate file that we call it as a dot class file. That we call it as a dot class file. This dot class file contains the byte code. The dot class file contains the byte code. It contains here. It contains the byte code. This bytecode is specific to the JVM. This bytecode is specific to the JVM. Now here again, when I compile, it is generated the dot class file it generated, but these dot class files are cannot be understood by the our operating systems. Again, this needs to be translated into the what mission can understand. For that, we are going to start the Java runtime environment by using the command called the Java. Java, we are going to use the command, and you will give the your dot class file name. Hello world, you are going to give it here, and this Java will be installed on top of your operating system. Suppose if I'm taking the these are my OS, I'm going to take it here. Okay, let me take it here. This is what we are going to take it as a OS. On top of your OS, then JDK is going to create its own environment. It's going to be created here. This is nothing but the JRE. When you're working with the Java JDK, there is something called the JDK. There is something called the JRE, and the JRE internally consists of the JVM, Java Virtual Machine. JDK stands for the Java Development Kit. JRE is a Java runtime environment. JVM is a Java Virtual Machine. And here, if you take your operating system OS, if I'm taking here, like this OS could be anything, Windows or Mac or Linux. If you're taking here, now when you install the JDK, it is going to install the JDK and JRE, both are is going to be installed on your machine. The moment you say that Java, it is going to start the Java runtime environment by loading this dot class file into the memory, and the JVM is going to translate this the byte code into the what mission can understand, what your operating system can understand. It is going to be translated, and finally your program is going to execute. Now here, when you compile your program, we are using the Java C. To run your program, we are using the command called the Java. We are going to use it here. Java is a Java runtime environment. So, which is nothing but we are saying that, hey, you start the my runtime environment by using the command called the Java, and it will start, and it will load this dot class file into the memory. It will get it into the your memory, and then it is going to execute this hello world example. It will internally JRE is going to translate into the what underlying operating system can understand, and finally your program is going to be executed here. Now we have a few steps here. Java C, you are compiling the program. Java is you are going to execute your Java program. You are going to execute here. Now internally, how it works, this compilation and the Java runtime environment, how it is going to start. So that's a big concept. We will discuss maybe little later. We will discuss in upcoming classes. We'll be discussing here. Now here, the job of the compiler is it will convert the high-level language into the mission understandable language. In case of the Java, it is not going to generate the directly executable files. It will generate the intermediate file that we call it as a dot class files. This dot class files contains the bytecode instructions, and these bytecode instructions are specific to the JVM. Only JVM can understand these bytecode instructions. Like now, in order to run your Java program, you require a JRE, Java Runtime Environment. So JDK, JRE, JVM. JVM is a Java Virtual Machine. Okay. Now to execute your programs, to compile and to debug your programs, you require a JDK. To run your programs, you require a JRE. Typically, developer machines will install the JDK, which internally contains the JRE, where your client machines, where your Java programs just it has to run. He is not going to develop anything. it is a JRE is required. So these are the jargons, like no. So when you take this here, Java C, Java compiler, Java is a Java interpreter. So JDK, JRE, and JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Suppose if I want to write my simple hello world example, I want to write it and I want to execute in my command prompt. How are you going to do with the command prompt? You will see that here. Now here I'm going to create a one directory, mkdir. I'm creating a one directory. I'm going to create it here. This is a Java underscore. I'm going to say it as a November underscore basics. Okay. I'm creating a one folder. Nothing else I'm doing here. CD Java underscore November underscore basics. ls, if I take this here, I don't have any directory or anything here. Okay, what I did is here, like no, let me show you through the uh, command prompt. Like let me show you this here. If you go to the document here, here what we are doing here is in this directory. Okay, what is the directory? This is a PWD. If we take that here, present working directory, users, this is what we are in this directory. We created a one directory we created here. Apart from that, nothing else we did. Okay, here we are going to the, okay, Windows L. Uh, Not sure how to go to that directory. Okay, we'll do one thing here. Here we are in the documents. I'll create a new folder. I'm going to create a new folder. I'm creating here. This folder name is Java underscore November underscore basics. I'm going to say that here. Okay, this is a folder I created here. In this folder, like now, if you look at here, we don't have anything. Okay, folder is empty. Now here, I'm going to open in a terminal. I'm going to open here. Just if I type that ls, we don't have anything here. So we did not get any, like no, just we are in this directory. We don't have the anything in this directory. Now, what I want to do here is I want to create a one new file. I want to create it here. When I'm creating the new file, so we can take it here. Either you can use the notepad. Okay, new file, view, new folder. Okay, inside the folder we can create it here. I'm not sure how to create it in a new file in the Mac. Okay, I can create it by using the command touch. You will be saying it as a hello world.java. I'm going to create a one new file. I'm going to create it here. Like now in Windows, you can right click and we can create it that here. Here I'm not sure how to do that here. That's the reason I have taken the help from the command prompt I have taken here. Now open with the text editor. I'm going to open either Visual Studio Code or text editor, Notepad, anything you can open here. And this is what it is open here. And we are going to type it as a public. Let me increase the size. I can't visit. Edit settings. Like font size is coming very small. Change the font size is. I'm going to make it as 18. Okay, this is fine. 18. I'm going to make it here. This is also I'm going to make it as a 18. Now I'm going to save this here. Okay, let me close it and open so that those changes will reflect. Okay, I'm going to close this here and I'm going to open. Okay, I'm going to open the notepad. I'm going to text pad. I'm going to open with the text edit. Here we are going to write it as a public. I'm going to take it as a, this should be a always lowercase public. Okay, these guys are using its intelligence and they're making this uppercase. Public class hello world. Public class hello world. You open the curly brace, you close the curly brace. This is a first class we are starting. Most of the things we may not know 100%. Don't worry about that here. Public class hello world. Whenever you are creating any Java program, you have to create a one class. That class we are creating it as a public class, and your class name. The naming conventions for the class name is it should start with the capital letters. It should start with the capital letters. And preferred name is if it is having the multiple words, every word should start with the capital letter. Like the best example, I'll show that here. Person details. Okay. Like no event emitter, emitter service. Like no, whenever you are having the multiple words, every word should be starts with the capital letter. Every word starts with the capital letter. Yeah. And the preferred name is the nouns. For the class name, preferred name is the nouns. You can take it here. Now here, when you want to execute any of your programs, Java programs, you want to execute that here, it should have the main method. The signature of the main method in Java. In other programming languages, it's a slightly simple. Like now, when you're doing the Java, the main method signature is when you're learning the first time, it looks little complex, but it is not at all. Like no, you will be writing the n number of programs, you will get used to that here, and you will get to know that why they made it as a public static void main, and that's the way they made it as a signature. I will be discussing in upcoming classes. At this point of time, you just take it as the main method signature is like this: public static void main string array args. Okay, then you are going to open and you are going to close it here. Now, if you take this here, wherever you are seeing the class names, it starts with the capital letters. String is a class in Java. Now here, what is the message you want to print it here? I would be doing here system.out.println. What are the message you want to print it on the console? We would be using the system is a class out.println, system.out.println, and the message what you want to print it here, you just type that here. Hello world, or we can say it as a welcome to Java world. Welcome to Java world. Okay, I'm going to say it as a welcome to Java world. You close this here, and every statement should be terminated with the colon we are going to terminate here. That's the end of the statement. That's a mandatory. Now, once you have done this here, save this here. Okay, we are going to save this program. Now I save this program. This program needs to be executed. First of all, in order to execute this program, we have written a we have written a program in a high level we have written, but whether it's syntactically correct or wrong, we don't know. So then we are asking the compiler to do that job. We are going to open the Java C hello world.java. I'm going to say that here. If everything is fine, then it is going to give or it is going to generate a dot class file. Okay, here it is giving it as a okay. So here it is giving the compilation error. It is going to give it here. Why? Because my file name is have given it as a hello world. Here I made a typo. Just I'm going to change that here. I'm going to create a. I'm going to save this here. Now once I go back, Control Z, Control Z. I'm going. I saved this here. Again I'm going to the command prompt. I'm going to compile. There is no problem. If you look at here, we have a two files ls minus lpr. If you look at here, we have a two files. One is a hello world.java, another one is a hello world.class file it is having here. So once the compilation is successful, then it is going to generate a one dot class file. It is going to generate. In order to execute the dot class file, we are using the command called the hello world. I'll be executing here. It is saying that it's a welcome to Java world. The message whatever you printed, that message has been printed here, which is printing it as a welcome to Java world. This is a way you can write a your first hello world example to ensure that whether things are working or not, like your dev environment is setup is proper or not. To check that here, you can print a hello world example. With that, you can conclude that my dev environment is working. My JDK installation is proper. Cool. Yes. Any questions here so far? Any questions? Can someone respond, please, so that I will also be happy that like no you guys are listening. Yeah. Can someone? Is this clear or any questions?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Clear. Thank you. Yeah. So now here, cool. Let me ask you one question here. When you are writing a like no, what is the extension for Java files? Can someone respond, please? What is the extension for Java files? What is the extension for Java files? What is the file extension? What is the file extensions for Java?
Dot Java.
Java, very good. So what is the Java C stand for? Java C is the Java compiler. Okay. Java C stands for the Java compiler. Okay, cool. What is a JDK? JDK full form? Java Development Kit. Java Development Kit. Okay. What is a JRE? Java Runtime Runtime Environment. Okay. What is a JVM? What is a JVM?
Java Virtual Machine.
Java Virtual Machine. Okay. Cool. How do you see how to see JDK version on your machine? How do you see JDK version on your machine? What is the JDK version it is currently installed? How do you see that? So we would be using the command prompt Java minus version.
Version.
So just you can open the command prompt. You would be saying it as a Java minus version, which will be telling that what is the version of the JDK it is installed. You can see that here. Okay, this is a way Java minus version. You will be seeing that here. Okay, cool. Now here when you are doing here like what is the program? Suppose if I'm writing the hello world example I have written here. Let's take it here. These are my program name. Let's put it as a hello world Java I have written here. Okay, hello world Java I have written here. And the first thing is in order to execute this program, we in order to execute this program, we are going to first compile this. We are going to compile this here. How are you going to compile? Java C hello world dot Java. We are going to do that here. Once you compile this, will it generate the executable file or will it generate the intermediate file? When the compiler is compiling this program, what happens here? Can someone please? When your Java program is compiled, what happens here? Can someone? Can someone? What happens when you compile your program, Java C hello world? It will generate a intermediate file. That intermediate file we call it as the we will say it as intermediate file hello world dot class. It is going to generate here. Hello world dot class file it's going to generate. To run this hello world Java class, we need to start the Java runtime environment. To start the Java runtime environment, we will use the command called the Java hello world. We are going to use it here, and which is going to run, which is going to like no, which is going to execute on your operating system. Like now, what are the OS you are going to take it here? Which will start the Java runtime environment, which is going to start the Java runtime environment, which is going to start the Java runtime environment. That's nothing but the here we'll have a JRE. So JRE internally contains the JVM, and this JVM is going to take this command is going to start the Java runtime environment, and it will take this dot class file into the memory, and the JVM is going to execute the instructions whatever you have written in your Hello World class. Those things are going to be executed on your top of your operating system. So when you compile your program, it is generating the intermediate file. This intermediate file, you can take it on any operating system. You can take it on any operating system. You can execute your program. So now I have a three different operating systems you are taking here. Like now we are taking the Windows, we are taking the Linux, we are taking the Mac. Okay, here we have got the three operating system, majorly used operating system. These three operating system, Windows, Linux, and Mac. We are going to take it here. Okay, this is a one, and this is a one we are taking here. Now here, whenever you want to run, once your program is compiled, this is going to generate a dot class file. It's generating here. This dot class file contains the bytecode instructions. It contains the bytecode. This bytecode is a specific to the JVM. It is a specific to the JVM. Bytecode is a specific to the JVM. Only JVM can understand this bytecode. Now here we are using the operating system. One here you are using the Mac. Okay, one is you are using the Mac. Another one is a Windows. Okay, then we are using the Linux. Let's take it as a Linux is another version we are using here. Now once I created this dot class file, I want to run it on Linux, Mac, and Windows. You can run without any problem here. Once you created the dot class file, you can take and you can run on any operating system. You can run it on that without any source code modification. Directly you can run on that here, but ensure that you have installed the JRE. You are installing the JRE. We are having the JRE on our machines. So if JRE is available, you take this dot class file, you can run it on any machine. This concept you call it as a platform independent, platform independent. What is a platform independent means? Compile once, run on any operating system. Wherever JVM is present, like now this bytecode is a specific to the JVM. If JVM is present in your operating system, you can take this dot class file and you can run that. This concept we call it as a platform independent. Java is a platform independent. This is one of the reason Java becomes so popular. Once you compile your code, you can go and run it on any operating system wherever JVM is present. Okay, just it's required the Java runtime environment is required. If Java runtime environment is installed on your machine, you can run your dot class files. You can execute that without any changes of your source code. This concept we call it as a platform independent. Compile once, run anywhere. Compile once and run anywhere. You can use this concept. Okay. Now we will take a one more example. We are going to take it here. Okay. Let's take it as a simple example. Simple example. You are going to take it here. Suppose if I'm asking you to calculate the simple interest. Okay, simple interest. If I'm asking you to calculate, hey, can you calculate the simple interest? Simple interest calculation. We know that like now, if you take if you Google for that here, just we are going to write it as a okay. Windows here we are going to say it as a simple interest. Okay, simple interest. How do you calculate here? Simple interest is a formula. It's a simple thing. We are going to say that here. There is a three things is required. Okay, whenever you are taking the P, principal amount, rate of interest, and term of the loan and in terms of the years. If you give that, then you can calculate the simple interest. They are giving the example. Suppose you are taking the $18,000, 0.06 percentage. If you take that here for 3 years, you are going to end up with the paying the $3,220. You are going to pay it here, and therefore you would be paying the total amount is this is the amount 21,240. Now you need to take it here. The PTR divided by 100. Like no, the formula is the PTR. P T is a term, number of years, and R is the rate of interest. Rate of interest is a percentage. That's the reason we will divide with the 100. Okay, let's take it as a simple example. The same calculation we are going to take it here. We are going to, I'll be opening the J shell. Okay, I'm opening the J shell. My P value. Okay, here P value is a, I will be taking it as a P value. In double P equal to, I'm taking the $18,000. Okay, one more we are going to take it as a rate equal to double R equal to, we are going to take it as a nobody will give for the, okay, we are going to take the 6% we are taking here, and then we are going to take the double n equal to number of years equal to 3 years we are taking here. Now I got the P principal amount, rate of interest, and n. The SI equal to double SI, simple interest equal to P into R into n whole divided by 100. P into R into whole divided by 100. Because rate of interest is a percentage, that's the reason we are taking with dividing with the 100. We are getting the 3,240. 3,340 we are going to pay the interest. This is a simple calculation we would be doing that here. Okay, we are going to do the simple calculation you are doing here. Forget about the writing the programming. Like now here when you're as you might have learned in a school mathematics. Hey, my principal amount is 18,000. I'm taking the rate of interest is a 6%, and I'm taking for the number of years is a 3 years. The term is a 3 years. Now, how do I calculate a simple interest? SI equal to, we would be doing here P into T into R whole divided by 100. This is what. Now, if I substitute here 18,000 into T is how much? T is 3 years into R value is a 6, then whole divided by 100 if I do this here. And here we are going to cancel these two digits, and here we are going to cancel these two digits, we are going to cancel this here. Okay, here we are going to cancel this here, and if we multiply the 180 into 3 into 6, which you are going to get the result, you are going to get it here. That's nothing but the simple interest. And the total amount, how we are going to calculate total and amount equal to, we are going to say it as a principal amount plus SI. Simple interest, if I calculate that, I will get the total amount. This is the way you would be solving the problem you are going to solve it here. Suppose if you want to convert this value into the this logic into the program, how do I do that? Here? Now here in the paper, or when you are writing on this Excalibra, I'm taking the P value is this, R value is this, T value is this, and here we are taking the some space, and we are going to putting the values. But when it comes to the your program, your program is going to execute in the memory. Your program is going to execute in the RAM. It is going to execute. When it is executing in the RAM, we need to tell that here, hey, you reserve the some memory for the variable P, and you store the value as a 1000, 18,000, you store it here. You create a one more memory, and we are saying it as a, you store the R value. One more memory, we are going to store it here, and we store the T value. To tell that here how much memory is required, you need to tell to the your computer, like, or you need to tell to the JVM, hey, this much memory you reserve for this variable, this much memory you reserve for this variable, this much memory you reserve for this variable. To tell that, we would use the data types. There's something called the data types. What is this data types? It's a typical questions. Let me ask you that here. What is your name? Okay, I'm going to ask here. What is your age? I'm going to ask here. Okay. Uh, okay. Then we are going to ask the what is your height. Okay. Then here we are going to ask the what is your like no gender. Okay. So either we have a two options here. Okay. Just we are going to say that here male or female. Okay. Then we are asking here, do you like sweets? Okay. Then you have a true or false. We have two options, true or false. Okay, just you need to say that here. This is what. Now here, if you take that here, what is your name? You may be saying that the name is suppose if I'm taking here, so you will be saying it as Adya. That's my name. You are saying here. How old are you? Just you are going to say it as some 3 years. Okay. What is your height? Then you are going to say it as a 2.5 feet. We are going to say that here. So what is the gender? It's a female. And what is the do you like sweets? We are saying it as a false. I don't like. She doesn't like sweets. Now here, if you take this here, whenever I ask the question, what is your name? You have given the group of characters. When I ask the age, you have given the one number. When I ask the height, you have given the number with the decimal places. When I ask the gender, you said that single character. When I ask the do you like sweets, then you are saying it as a true or false. You are saying here. Now, if you take this data, we have a numeric data, we have a string data, we have a single character, we have a boolean values. Typically, any programming languages, we will have the data types are the character data type, character. We have a group of characters is nothing but the string data type, and we have a number data types and boolean data types. Okay, we have a number data type, and there is something called the boolean data types. Now, this is the data mainly we will be dealing in any programming languages. Number data type, character data type, boolean data types you are having here. Now, in Java, we have eight primitive data types. In order to deal with the numbers, we have these are the data types: byte, short, int, long. These are the data types, four data types, and along with that, we have two more data types to hold the float, and there is something called the double. To deal with the numbers, we have these are the data types you are having here. To deal with the numbers, we have these are the data types you are having here. Okay. So when you take this here numbers, sorry, yeah, numbers when you take that here, byte, short, okay, byte, short, int, long, float, double we are having here. These are we call it as the number data types in Java. In order to store integer values, you will use the byte, short, int, long. In order to store the floating point values, you will use the float and double. Why did they have this so many data types? If you take that here, byte is going to take the 1 byte memory, short is going to take the 2 byte memory, and int is taking the 4 byte memory, and long is taking the 8 byte memory. So depends on the what kind of data you are dealing with that. You will be choosing the one of these data type. You don't want to waste the memory by reserving the everything is a integer, or by reserving the everything is a like no, number of days in a week. We know that 1 to 7. Why do you want to go for the integer? You would go with the byte. Okay, when the number is below 128, we 1 to 128 we are storing that. There is no point in declaring that variable as a integer. We would go with the byte. Depends on the data, what kind of data you are dealing with, that you would be using the one of this data type. You are going to use it here to store the decimal values. You would be using either float or double. We are going to use it here. And then there is something called the character data type. There is a char data type. To store the single characters, we will be using the char data type called the char. We are going to use it here. Then there is something called the boolean data type. These boolean values are either true or false. True or false. Okay, total we have eight primitive data types. Those primitive data types also known as the fundamental data types. Okay, Java has got the eight primitive data types. You need not to by heart, guys. We will be using every day. We will be using that here. Uh, Primitive data types. Okay, primitive data types. If you take that here, Java has got the eight primitive data types. With the numbers, we have a byte, short, int, int, long. This is the numbers without decimals. To hold that, we would be using the one of these data types. You are going to use it here. To store the floating point values, you have a float and a double. And in order to store the character data type, you would be using the character. In order to store the boolean value, we would be using the data type called the boolean. These 8 data types, you call it as a primitive data types or the fundamental data types. It can hold a single value. It can hold the single value. It can hold it here. Now here, when I'm taking my principal amount, the principal amount when I'm taking here, I'm going to take the float. We are going to take the float or double. We are taking the double equal to principal amount equal to, we would be taking it as a, hey, can you take it as a 1,800, sorry, 18,000 we are taking here. Double rate of interest, sometimes it can be 6.5, 6.4, we don't know what is that value. Now I'm going to take it as a, this is, in this case we are taking the 6%, and then we are going to take the double number of years, we are going to take it as a n, ptr, t we will take it here, 3 years I'm taking here. I have taken the p value is 18,000, double value is rate of interest is this, and we need to calculate the SI. Double SI equal to simple interest equal to P into T into R whole divided by 100. I got this value. Then we want to find the total amount. Total amount equal to principal amount plus SI. And finally, we are going to print the S out. What is the principal amount? Okay, what is the what is the SI? Simple interest. And S out, what is the total amount you are going to print it here. That's it. This is what, like, now if you are doing this program, now what happens is here in the memory, if you declare like this is a memory area. Just imagine that this is a memory area. We created the one variable P. Double is going to take the 8-byte memory. So this is going to take the 8-byte memory. It is going to reserve in the computer memory. And the name you are giving is P. And here we are holding the value as a 18,000. Similarly, it is going to create a R, it is going to create a T. So same thing we are going to create it here. This is going to create a R. Okay. This is going to be creating it as a, this is one more variable, it's going to create it as a R, and one more variable it is going to create it as a T. So this value, this is R, this is a T. Okay. This is R value is a 6, and the T value is a, here we are going to take it as a 3. And here we are going to take the one more variable, that's a SI. SI equal to, we are doing the calculation PTR divided by 100. So which is going to get the 3 to something, 3240, I guess. That's the value you are going to get it here. And one more variable you are going to create it here, total amount equal to. So 18,000 plus this, which is going to be a 21,000 some value. Okay, this is nothing but the, we are going to give the name for this year. Total amount we are going to take it here. This is a name, this is a variable name is a total amount. We are going to say that here. This is a total amount, and what is the total amount? This amount plus this amount, which we are going to store it here, and then we are giving the name for that is a total amount. So when I'm printing here SI, what is the value at that SI? This will be printed. When I'm printing here SYS out, what is the value at this? You are going to print it here. So this is the way you could write a simple program which is going to calculate the simple interest. To do that here, again we are going to open the, okay, just I'm going to say it as a exit. Okay, touch. I'm creating here simple interest dot Java. I'm going to create a one file I'm creating here, and I'm going to open that file in a notepad. I'm going to open here simple interest dot Java. Just let me open with the text editor. I'm going to open here, and once you open here, this is the program name is public class. Okay, it should be lowercase, public class simple interest. Okay, now here we are going to write a main method. I'm writing here, this is a public static void main string. Then we are going to take the args. Okay, then we would be doing here, and here we are going to declare the 3 variables you are taking here. Double p equal to, I'm going to take the 18,000 I'm taking here. Double R equal to 6% we are taking here. Double we are going to take it as a T equal to 3 years we are taking here. Then we are taking the double SI equal to P into R whole divided by 100, and here we are going to take it as a double total amount equal to, I'm going to find it here, P plus Si. Then we are going to print that here, system dot out dot println. So simple interest is, just you are going to print the, what is the amount, we are going to print it as a Si. We are going to print the Si, system dot out dot println total amount. Total amount is, we are going to print the, what is the total amount, we are going to print it as a total amount, we are going to print it here. Now here, one thing is, we are learning this something extra. Whenever you are printing the variable, your message plus variable, if you want to print that here, we'll use the plus operator. We are going to use it here. That's nothing but the output plus value at this variable you concatenate to the string. The output plus value at this variable you just concatenate it to the string. We are going to say that here. Okay, we are going to say it as a plus total element. We are going to add it here. Now everything is done. Now you save this program. You need to compile this program. You are going to compile here Java C simple interest.java. If there is no compilation error, okay, here there is a compilation error. Okay, this should be a SI. Now instead of that, IS I typed, which is not correct. That's the reason it came the compilation error. Now I'm going to execute the Java simple interest. I'm going to execute without anything. The simple interest is 3,240. Total, you are going to pay that here 21,240. So this is a way you can get start with the writing the simple example. Like now, whether like to write this program, what is that? First thing is we need to know what is the simple interest and how it works. Converting this into the code is a very simple. So what we are doing here is, hey, like no, on the paper when you are doing here, this is the way you do that here. Like no, when you are doing the programmatically, we are going to tell that what is the data type, what is the data type, what is the data type. We are calculating the SI. Then we are calculating the total amount equal to my principal amount plus SI. If I add that, I'll get the total amount what I'm going to pay, and I'm printing it as the output on the console. Hey, this is your simple interest. This is your total amount. We are going to print it here. So this is a way you can write a simple basic programs. You can write it here. So now here we learn there is a data types. Like no, what is the data type? The data types will tell you that like no, what kind of data you are going to store it in a particular variable. Java has got the 8 primitive data types. So the byte, short, int, long, float, double, and a character and a boolean. Boolean is going to store the true or false. Character is going to store the single character, which is in a single quote. And when you're dealing with the numbers without decimal places, if you want to store the numbers, you can go with the byte, short, int, long. If you want to store with the decimal places, you would be using the either float or double. Float is going to take the 4 byte memory, whereas a double is going to take the 8 byte memory. That's the difference between uh, the the number data types and the character and the boolean data types. Any questions so far? Any questions? Any questions? No questions? Okay, fine. So here to recap, what are the things we discussed this year? Once again, I'm going through that here. First, you should install the JDK. Then you download this IntelliJ IDE and you download that here. Whether my things are working or not, to test that here, just you have written a one hello world example, and we compile that program and we executed on your laptop or whatever the PC you are using here. And these are the things like JRE, JDK, JVM. We discussed about that here. How to see the version of the Java is, just you have used this command, and typically how Java programs execute. Like now, just you are going to write a high level code you are writing here. This high level code will be compiled and it will be generated the .class file. These .class files we are going to execute on these .class files we are going to execute on executing by using the command called the Java command. We are going to use it here. Once you do the compilation, you can run your program on any operating system. This concept we call it as a platform independent. Then we saw that here, how do you write the simple interest calculation formula? Because we know what is the data types and how the data types works, and the what are the primitive data types we discussed. And finally, we calculated the simple interest program we have written, and we calculated simple interest, and we displayed the simple interest plus total amount. What is the total amount we displayed here? Whenever you are printing the output, so you would be doing that as a, so your message plus SI. Total amount is just you are going to print the what is the total amount you are printing here. This is the way you would be writing your Java programs you would be writing here. And one more day we will do it on the notepad. We'll get familiar with the syntax. Then following days we will be seeing with the IDE how we are going to use the IDE. Maybe tomorrow class itself I will get started with the IDE. We will see that here. First class, I'm not taking the too long of time, so 1 hour is good enough. First week we'll make it as a little light. Maybe upcoming sessions we will extend the time. Thank you guys. If you don't have any questions, I'm done for the day. If you have a questions, you can stay back and you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Okay. See you guys.